Oh, going live? All right. All right, we're live. Hey there, awesome marketing students of amazing powers and abilities and fantasticness. So we're back for another class. I actually got some new swag. I got a light. Our fans on Wolters World donated money, and so we got one of those big ring lights. So we got better lighting. So hopefully that'll help with the feed in terms of your visuals and stuff like that. I have my Surface here on a music stand and my computer with my notes behind there on top of a bar stool. So we're keeping it fancy here, just like we do in class. So I want you to know that, hey, working from home can be fun. Anyway, so I want to get started. We want to talk about that digital marketing project. So Tatiana was nice enough to bring this up, and I want to make an announcement. The final project, the digital and social media marketing project, will be due on May 5th. I know it used to be May 1st, but I decided to push it back, just give you to the very end of the semester, last day of class. You can send it in to me by May 5th at 11:59 p.m. So anytime that day, get it to me. It's okay, but you're going to send it to the company and then CC me because I want to make sure they get it, okay? And I know right now you might be like, do we talk to the company? Are they going to answer back? Some will, some won't because maybe they're not essential workers. But the thing is you have enough information now that you can do a good job in this digital and social media marketing project even without being able to contact them very much. That's why we're doing those value propositions, all those kind of things, all right? But I'm going to go through that project now so you have an idea of what you're looking for, okay? Because there's kind of one big change, not really a big change, but one thing I want to really make sure we do in this project with all the COVID stuff so we can help out these companies because, these are small businesses we're working with and they're the ones that have been hammered the most and a lot of them, they're going to have a tough time coming back. So if our project can help them, you need to think about this. You're helping these companies come back to life. And this is an awesome thing you're doing, so it's really, really great. So let's get started. So your digital marketing project. So basically your overall objective here is you're going to analyze and develop a digital marketing plan for your firm. Okay, so this is like you're going to develop a year-long monthly social media plan. You're going to evaluate the different social media tools they use. You're going to recommend to them, hey, here are the platforms you should use, you shouldn't use. Here's often you should post. Here's some examples of the stuff you should talk about. Here's some examples of stuff you shouldn't talk about. We're going to be doing things like that, okay? And in the project itself, remember, you're going to be making a professional project, right? So you're going to have, the cover page, the table of contents, but you're going to have that executive summary. And like I said, is make sure that executive summary gives you the most important recommendations you have for them. That's what you want to have there. It's not an introduction. It's the most important points, okay? So you're going to have that. Now, some of the things that we're going to be in there, and we're going to be going through these over the next 5 or 6 classes. I'm going to go through a lot of this stuff so you have that. Yes, the final project is the digital project, Tatiana. Yes. So the digital project, the written one. No, there's no presentation. The project, sorry. The digital project, the written typed up one, 15, 25 pages one, that is the thing that's due. Does that help? Let me know with a smiley face or a candy cane or whatever emoji you can pop up on your phone so we can do that. But the thing is, all these things I'm going to talk about here, if you're not really sure, because I've had some people, Caroline reached out, she's like, hey, could you go over what is a social media marketing mission statement? We're going to be going over that on Tuesday next week. That's the topic we're going to start on next week with that. And we'll have these kind of things. But you're going to give them a social media mission statement. And I do suggest you put that first at the very beginning of your project. Like after the executive summary, put that in there because then you're saying, look, this is what everything's based off of. Okay, you're going to give them that overall kind of vision for social media. We're going to put that out there, and then you're going to use this what's called SOSTIC model, where you look at the situation we're in now. So you're going to analyze your analysis on where they're at now. You're going to put that in there. The objectives you have for them overall, the strategies you're going to have for them, the overall ideas, to actual tactics, that content strategy, actions, who should be doing it. All those kind of things you're going to be putting in there. And the thing is, you don't have to make the project so it's like SOCTAC. These are the kind of things you're going to need to be talking about. And it kind of gives, sometimes by using that SOSTEC model, it helps you kind of give some kind of form to your project. You don't have to use that as the form, but it does give you some ideas. Okay, Tatiana, I'm glad I could help out. Thank you. That's why we have these things. That's why I have this back and forth stuff. So I am glad to do it. Other things you're going to have in your project. You're going to come up with a content strategy for your company. Okay, so look into what they should be sharing, how they should share it, why they should share it, because we're going to talk about how you make content for different kinds of customers. Because you might have content that's just to get people's attention to know you exist. But then there's other ones to get them to order the product, right? So if you think about it, think about it, right now, it's 4 o'clock. Like you had lunch or breakfast or whatever you just had. Who knows now what time? Dude, I never know what time it is anymore. It's like 4. I'm like, did I have lunch? You're not really thinking about it. But at 4 o'clock, you're not super hungry. So if you see an ad for a pizza place, you're not like, oh, I need to order now. It's more they're planting that seed in there. So like later on at 8 when you're hungry, you might order. And so that's what we're trying to do. Okay. So you might have different posts to do with those things. Like some will be like, hey, we're not sure what to have for dinner tonight. Why not order Pizza Hut pickup? So on the way home, you can pick it up and get home a hero. You can do these kind of things. So you want to kind of think about that. Now, another thing you're going to talk about are curation topics. And curation topics are kind of like things that relate to what we do, but maybe we're not experts in it. So like, look, I could theoretically write on accounting, but that's not my really area of expertise. So I'm probably going to curate some topics from other places and share that. Okay, I'll share Mike Donahoe's, accounting stuff or the, finance stuff because that's his area, not mine. And so you look at these curation topics. Also, you all did really, really good in those value propositions for your companies. What we want to do now is actually have them do online value propositions. So what are going to be some of these online specific value propositions? Kind of like, ever notice that sometimes there's the online only ordering or something like that, or get the discount on our website kind of stuff. You might look at things like that. Then you're going to go through the social media plan. And this is where you're going to say there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. A lot of the stuff goes into it, like the content strategy and stuff. But overall, you're going to look at the different platforms they're going to use. And what you're going to do is you're going to tell them what platforms they should use and why. Because by saying why should you use Instagram, you need a visual platform. If Instagram is no longer popular, they know that, look, whatever is the popular, format for visual stuff, we need to be on there for that. It's kind of like when you look at, like kids, right? Like, when I was in college, they're like, oh, Facebook is just for the college kids, right? I saw an SNL thing that popped up the other day, and it's like, oh, your mom's on Facebook, and now it's like everyone's like, you're not on Facebook anymore. But it was like just for that group, and then it switched, right? And so it's kind of like now, a few years ago, Snap was just for like the kids, right? And then TikTok was just for kids, but now TikTok's growing. Like my kids' friends, their parents now are like watching TikTok things and doing the dances and stuff and try to make it look, do that. So you're starting to see it's like, look, you need to have a platform that is for this specific audience. Visual audience, a young audience, whatever, you need to kind of focus on that. Like a professional audience, you want to have your LinkedIn stuff. So you have that. So Mark, does the lighting work better? I actually don't have any other lights on in the room. I only have that circle light, buddy. So thank you. So those are Mark Finley is actually one of our patrons and a member on our YouTube channel and moderator on a lot of our channels. And so he helped get this light for me. So thanks, buddy. Cheers. It's just water today. And I need a lot of water today. Anyway, other stuff I want to talk about. Oh, the reason why I'm reaching over here is because the other computer screen with the stuff is right behind this computer. So I can go there. Another thing I want you to have is make sure that 1 year monthly social media plan. So talk to your company if you can and ask them, hey, what are some of your busier seasons? Like, what are their months like? And see when their busy months are and kind of plan accordingly for that. Also, what I would look at is you also need to do it like each month, give them a theme. Just don't say February, love. No, explain what they could be doing. Like, here's some ideas we have, the theme overall to have your post relate to this. That could be something to look at, okay? And then I do want you to also pick 3 different weeks throughout the year, and you're going to give them those posts that you recommend. Now, you're not going to write the whole LinkedIn article, but you'll give the title of the article. And if you go online and look on Google, you can just look up mock-ups LinkedIn post, mock-up Instagram post, mock-up Twitter post, mock-up Facebook post, and there'll be a thing. And you can put the stuff in there to show them what it is. Because sometimes your clients aren't really sure, so it's just good to give them that visual. And you can put that visual right in there. Like when you're talking about it, just put it in there, okay? To help people out. That's why the project usually goes more than 25 pages, because you have all this extra stuff in there. One thing I will say though, 1 of the 3 weeks, I want you to have a week. It's post-COVID, and we're trying to get people to come back to those companies. Hey, if it's a restaurant or it's a golfing place or it's the bait, like, hey, we're back in business. We're back in here. We need your help and support. We need to have some posts for that. So do have that. Okay. Grace, is it okay to suggest eliminating certain platforms, especially if there are limited resources for the company and they should focus on other platforms? Yes, Grace, you should definitely tell them what not to do. Because I know there's some companies out there that have had they're on 15 platforms. If they're not using it, it's only going to hurt them. So what I would say is, Grace, for those platforms they have, if I have Wolters World and a bunch of stuff, but I don't use it, what you should do is look, this is only a platform. Go check us out on Facebook. Go to our website. Just have one post on there that says, look, we are not using this. You need to go find us on other social media platforms and go that way. But yeah, you should tell them not to, because it's not worth it to focus on that. Think about it. If I'm going to be focusing on, I want to get the high school, college age stuff. Dude, there's no reason to be on Facebook. None. We're focused on Instagram, TikTok, Snap. That's what we're going to be doing. We're not focused on anything else. And that is good. Great question, Grace. Thank you very much. I hope that helps. Okay. Mark. So Mark Finley, it looks great. Camera angle could be a little higher. So here's the thing is when I do these live feeds, it's from my computer. And so for me to play with it, the computer, when you have your computer that leans back, because I have it laying forward, it'll fall forward and then it'll shut itself off because I'm using my Surface. So that's why I'm actually on a music stand, because I can move that music stand in a way that I can actually get a little bit better view. Because all I can do if I go higher, it's too dangerous that things will go wrong, Mark. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I am working on that. So hopefully with next month's stuff, we can try to get another upgrade. So Here's hoping. Other stuff I want to have you talk about. So in the project, I talk about key performance indicators. I'm not going to have you do a ton on that one. We'll talk about a bunch of key performance indicators in our lectures probably in 2 weeks. But I think that one might, since all these are smaller companies, I might only recommend you talk about 3 or 4 of them for them. And if you don't, it's okay. But just want you to know that that's not going to be a big one I'm really going to be looking at. Because of what we're looking at now, it's hard to see, but it could be good to give them some ideas if you want, okay? Especially if you have 6 people in your group and you need something else, then yes, please do give them that. And then we have the additional recommendations. So any other recommendations you've come up with, and you might think of, hey, you know what? We had some business ideas, but with the old COVID thing, changed business completely. We have other ideas to help you out in a normal, non-digital way. Please put that in. Have a special extra recommendations at the end of the project so you do have that. Okay, now, what am I going to look for? Same thing as before, in terms of the setup, 1.5 line spacings, 15 to 25 pages, 12 font size, make sure you have page numbers and stuff like that. Pretty straightforward things. Make sure your team names, everybody's names on there, because I've had a couple companies a couple of the groups have asked that some people not be on the team anymore. So I want to make sure all that is kind of on the up and up. So make sure you have that. So if you have any questions about the project, do shoot a question over here or over there. And we'll get that taken care of. Okay. Now I can move on to our digital and social media projects. So for my students out there, I sent you a file with about 300 some odd slides. We're not going to go through all those. We just don't have enough because I'm putting together my social media marketing course. And so this is kind of going to be in both these things, kind of crossing over. And since most of you are seniors, you won't have a chance to take the social media marketing course anyway. And the person that's taking over the class for me in 420 is going to be doing something completely different. So this way I get to get some stuff and I get to give you some extra things. So there is that. Hey, the man with the plan. Good to see you. So if we start with Unit 1, basically we're looking at the basic of social media and digital marketing. So we're going to be talking about some of the basic things like, digital first consumers, how people, think about it. Do you actually go to the store to check things out? No, you check it out online first and do that. So we're going to be focused on some of these just basic overall social media ideas and principles, okay? And so, hello, Liam. My 8-year-old just came down here with his Switch. It's amazing how many people are worried because they saw us with the Nintendo Wii U. And they're like, Wii U, you're a horrible parent. Get him a Switch. I'm like, he has one. We don't need to buy 9 versions of Rayman. So there is that. Anyway, when we kind of think about what is social media, just in general. Oh, Liam? You okay? Yeah. All right. I'm trying to teach my class, buddy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, see, teaching from home, working from home, it's always interesting. The coworkers can be this coworker doesn't have a shirt on. So he's just being silly. Anyway, if we look at overall, what is social media? I mean, if you go for the dictionary version of it, websites and applications that enable users to create and share, there's the key thing, share content or to participate in social networking. So basically, anybody can make content and they can share it, but we can interact back and forth together. So it's all that social interaction that we have online. That's what social media is. And I'll talk about later, I'll talk about Web 2.0 because all Web 2.0 is just that the way that we can actually interact with each other now. Like back in the day, when websites first came out, it was just website. There was no comment section. There was no going back and forth kind of stuff. We have that now, and social media likes that and does that. And that's why, if you think about social media, what is it? It's the Instagram, right? It's getting that how many likes. I mean, I got to post that picture, and I got to get the likes for that, right? Or grandma, think about grandma takes a picture for dinner, and if she posts that, and you're like, oh, good for you, grandma. You got your stuff up on there. Nice, And so you have those kind of things. Right now, what we're doing right here, this is social media. I'm talking to you live, and you're sending me questions occasionally live, so we're having this social interaction. That's that social media side of it. It's media, but we can go back and forth. That's the key thing you got to think about. And so when you're looking at social media, you have to think about is what are all the different ways I can talk to my audience, and I can have my audience talk to me. So the man with the plan, like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, forums, yes, all of that is social media, that back and forth interaction stuff. That's what we're talking about. Now, when we look at this, I will say this. When you're looking at social media, we're really doing a key thing here with social media. So you're trying to build this idea of community. You're not trying to sell stuff. I mean, think about it. How many of you that are watching this have friends who will try to sell stuff on their will try to sell stuff on their Facebook page or Instagram page? You're like, oh, you won't believe, you like my skin? Oh, maybe you should get my Rodan Fields. Oh, ask me about the cleanse or the wrap or the cream or whatever. They have those things. You're like, oh, come on, stop with this crap. You get frustrated and you anybody here ever silenced a friend? You're like, you know what? I need to take a break. I just need to take a break. You might look at those things because people don't like being sold to in social media. They want to be social. Now, if you're talking about the product or you're using the product, those kind of things kind of work. But it's when you start pushing the sale, that's when things get a little bit confusing. Occasionally people will be cool with some social media selling, but not too much. That's when people get turned off by that. Look, your website's for selling. Your social media, building that community feeling and building the community and followers. So if they do decide to buy a product in your area or in your industry, then they're more likely to buy your stuff versus somebody else's, right? And so you build that kind of community spirit out there. And that creating goodwill with your social media is one of the best things that works with social media. You can really do a lot with it. So make sure you are doing that because otherwise you might push people away. Yes, Grace puts out there, yeah, lots of multi-level marketing stuff. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, Grace, how many do you get? I get them all the time because I'll get them because of Wolters World, but then also I get them because my friends will be on there. I'm just like, oh, and it kind of cycled through, because there was the creams, like I said, the creams, the wraps, the health supplements, all that kind of stuff. Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. So Man with the Plan makes a good point. LuLaRoe does direct-to-consumer marketing mainly on Facebook. Unfortunately, a lot of people lose friends over things like this. It's true. I mean, that's the thing is if you're over-smarmy, and I'll talk about this later, but if you're over-smarming, over-talking, overselling, it turns people off. It's the natural side of it. Look, if you look great, I might ask you, Christy, why do you look so great? Oh, I use Rodan Fields. I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, that was a really great vacation. What did you do for that? Oh, I watched these Wolters World videos. Oh, cool. You want people to share their good experiences with your stuff, and that's why. And we'll talk about I have the numbers later looking at how people really enjoy, personal reviews way more than a commercial, and they trust them a lot more. Okay. And so if we start looking at the different types of social media platforms out there, and there's a lot of different platforms that are out there, and some of these platforms kind of cross over. Most of what I see on social media product-wise is exactly. Because most of the time people are talking about their food or they're talking about life or what they're doing in the quarantine. And then there's the sales things that always looks weird too. You see the picture like, wait a minute, Frank doesn't post that high quality of pictures. What is that? So you have those things. Anyway, if we start looking at different like types of platforms you're going to see, or social media platforms you're going to see, like the ones we think of most are these social networking sites. These are websites that are just there to connect informally with others that we have kind of shared social interests. That's like your Facebooks, your LinkedIns, your Twitters, things like that. You have those ones. It's just about being social. Okay, just talking. Now the thing is sometimes within our social media or social networking sites, we might have interest-based networks within there. So we might have a fan page for toys or something like that, or a fan page for movies or something like that. Or you might have forums out there that are just based around a certain interest. Oh, I love talking about the Marvel movies. I go there and listen. If the Chicago Bulls, they have their own stuff out there that people go there to look at those things, like the Bulls fan pages and stuff like that. They have those back and forth. So you have those interest-based networks, okay? Then, of course, you have the online review sites, like your TripAdvisors or Hotel.com or Yelp or Google has that, Facebook, stuff like that. You have those things out there. Rate Your Professor, right? You have those kind of social media sites because it does give people the chance to interact and talk about products and brands and professors and stuff like that, okay? Another thing, and the man with the plan, I'll get to your question here in a sec. Another thing I want to look at is social publishing platforms. So this is when you're writing your blogs, right? So I use WordPress for my stuff, or people might use Wix for their clients, or all kinds of stuff. You have those, so the blogs to get people to share. You have that. Then, of course, you have the media sharing websites like here on YouTube. We're sharing videos, or Pinterest and Instagram, but share visuals and stuff like that. Spotify, sharing music. You have these kind of things out there. And then you have traditional kind of like bookmarking sites. You share interesting information with others. So you have your Pinterest boards and stuff like that. And you notice some of these things cross over. They do because you might use one specific brand kind of platform, but for different reasons in different ways. Okay. And so the man with the plan asks, what do you think about brand accounts on social media? I think they're really important. I think for brands, they need to have those things because you need to have a way to interact with your clients. And I know it's not always use it as a kind of customer service kind of thing, but it is a good way to have an outreach to your customers, to talk to them, to go through things, to give a way to interact with them. And I'll talk about this in a little bit, but I think it's really important for all brands to have that. Okay. Even B2B brands should have some things. Now, they're not going to be on every single social media platform. I think that's stupid, but at least you want to make sure you have the twitter.com/Coca-Cola, facebook.com/Coca-Cola, YouTube. You want to have all that. You might not use them all, but you want to definitely have them all. Okay. Just in case someone else, does the cyber squatting stuff and steals your stuff. Okay. Now, if we look, don't do that. My ear's sitting there back there clicking his tongue, trying to be annoying. Last time I was doing that, my wife was just sitting behind the camera eating chips. So, anyway. So if we start looking at social media in general and we kind of compare it to kind of our traditional media. When you talk about traditional media, you're looking at, radio, TV, newspapers, magazines, billboards, these kind of things versus the digital, those banner ads, or maybe when you're watching this, there's an ad down here below or something like that, or like over there in the corner if you're watching this on YouTube and stuff. There's different kinds of like ads that way, but just in general, you look at media in general, there's different ways you look at it. I mean, think about it. If I'm on TV, don't you trust me more than if I'm online? I mean, you trust what you see on TV. You don't trust as much stuff as you see online, right? So we have to think about this. And so we as marketers have to think about the different media types we have and decide what's the best one that we can use for what we're trying to do. And that's why it's important to know the differences and commonalities between traditional media and social media, okay? And so if we look at the kind of like ways that they're both similar, you have what's called the ability to reach a niche audience, but also a large audience, right? And so with traditional media, you can get to a big audience. You can be on the Super Bowl and have 30 million eyeballs watching it. You can be, in movies and have a product placement in the latest Marvel movie or something like that. You can do that. You can go big, but also you can go small. Hey, I only want to get it to the people that love trains. So I can be in a train newspaper, or a train magazine, right? I can do that. And the thing is, social media lets you do that too. I'm sure you saw an ad for a movie or something like that before this, or there's might be an ad over there in the corner or something like that. You have those kind of things. And so you can have the big ones, but also you can niche it down. Social media can niche it down. That's why they have those long tail key searches. Like if people look, what do I not want to eat on a Thursday in Buenos Aires? You can go down there and get a group that just wants that. So it's kind of interesting to see that. So there is a way that social media and traditional media is similar or are similar. And it really comes down to their reach, okay? But the thing is that's where kind of things are ending. And now you start to see some splits, okay? Because one thing you look for is the expense. I mean, doing this social media stuff here, I mean, all I have, I've got my Microsoft Surface computer that I'm filming this on. I got my Lenovo that's 3 or 4 years old behind me. And then I got my new light. Thank you, Baggy T. Helped me out with that. And Mark did too. They're sponsors on our other channel. And the thing is, though, this is cheap. I mean, if I had a TV thing, I'd have to hire directors. I'd have all the money, the big cameras, got to get the media spend. But hey, YouTube, it's free to put this stuff up on here. Basically, right? And so that's where you see is traditional media is a lot more pricey, okay? And the thing is for the access for it, people have to buy it to get it. If they don't buy that newspaper, they don't see the ad. If they don't drive on that highway, I mean, we're in the middle of the COVID thing. Ain't nobody driving around, so there's nobody putting eyeballs on that billboard. We got an access problem too, okay? Now with social media, the expense-wise, social media is super cheap, like I was saying, and basically it's available wherever internet is. So hey, if we're on the internet, we can be anywhere. People could be reading our stuff on the toilet. You might be watching this right now on the toilet. Please do not say I'm on the toilet over there, just in case you drop it. I don't want to be part of that. I would feel bad. Oh, so it's Simon. Was it? Wait, hold on. Shimoy? Shmona. I'm sorry, I butcher your name all the time. I tried though, because you said the N was like an N with a tilde, the nya in Spanish. So, yes, Simon, it does depend on which target market you're going to. So the older watch TV, younger ones use the internet. That's true. But the thing is, we have to be careful because sometimes we see that older, there's some websites they do go to a lot. So for that, maybe getting to Facebook for them is better. So that's why it's really important to do your research on how your people actually take in this media. And we'll talk about this later when we go into personas, because you want to see is where are people looking? There's no point to advertise for me on TikTok. I'm not watching it. But you know what? For my 13-year-old, yeah, you'd put it on TikTok, he'll see that stuff. Right? He's not going to see it on Instagram. He's not going to see it on Facebook. But TikTok, yes. YouTube, yes. And so you have to think about those things. Now, in terms of the training number of people involved, obviously when you're doing traditional media, I mean, think about it. Watch a movie, and they have all the credits go by for 10 minutes of all the people involved. Do you know who's involved with me making this? There's me. And Liam back there, who's my key grip, right? And yes, there are our executive producers out there that help pay for these things. Thank you, our patrons and members. But honestly, you can do it on your own. I mean, you take the picture of your food and that's it. So there's a lot less people, a lot less training needed. I mean, my mom has a nice Facebook presence. Go look up Kathy Wolters, image consultant, with you in mind, image consulting. Boom, she'll pop up on there, okay? So anybody can do it, which makes it very different. That's why you have all this access. That's why you have so many people that I love the fact that you have the YouTubes out there, because it gives people an opportunity. Whereas otherwise you'd have to live in LA or live in New York to be on TV or be like an influencer or something like that. Now you can be anywhere in the world. I'm sitting here in the cornfields of Illinois helping people with marketing all over the world. That's fantastic. And so social media lets you do those things. So it's very kind of a different thing. Now, if you look at it in terms of time to delivery, traditional media takes a long time. They're already kind of planning out what's going to be our Super Bowl ad. Hey, which movies do we want to be in next year? We have product placement. So it takes a long time to kind of get things through, to plan it out. I mean, I might want to put a billboard ad up, but the problem is maybe that billboard's rented for the next few months. I got to wait for that. So you have a longer time frame in traditional media till it's actually out. Where with social media, it's instant. I mean, this is live. I mean, really, the thing that's only weird is if you ever notice that I only answer a question a little bit after it posts here, is because when I'm filming this, I'm about 30 seconds in your future. So if I'm here, hey, the world will still be here 30 seconds from now. So we do have that. So Emily Grace puts in a question here. Does it matter if the company is already digitally or socially based? Should we frame the report differently? No, I think you could do it either way you want. Whatever you feel works best for the client, or whatever works best for you and your group, Emily, that's the way I would take it. That's why this project, having projects where you have all different kinds of clients, means you have to give a way big leeway in what people do. And that's why I just say is look, do what you feel works best. You've been doing this for 4 years. You've had the experience. If you think it's going to be better one way than the other, do that. It's totally fine. I'm not going to like knock points off for that. Don't you worry, Emily. So I hope that helps. And now going back to the social media versus traditional media kind of stuff. If you look at in terms of permanence, I mean, think about it. If you mess up something, I know people like will screen capture your mess ups and stuff like that. But in general, if you misspell something, you can go back on Facebook and change it, or Instagram, you can delete it and retype it and post it again. It's really like instant changes. But the problem is with you have like mistakes in movies. Well, it's there forever. I mean, remember the Game of Thrones? There was like the Starbucks cup in there in one of the episodes. Can't get rid of it. It's there forever. I guess when they make the DVD release, they could digitally take it out. But in general, it's there forever. And so that's why it's really important. That's why you have more copywriters. You have more people that are checking things because, hey, we can't mess this up because it's going to be this way forever. Whereas social media, boom, you can have instant changes. And then if we go into the credibility side of it, and the man with the plan had a picture here or a comment here that said, hey, I think people trust TV more because it has a high entry barrier compared to digital. Digital, anyone can make content. Digital media might be better for smaller brands with less money. Yeah. And that's just it. You're like, wait, if you're good enough to be on TV, if you're good enough to be on Good Morning America, I mean, you must be doing something right because we assume that they're doing a good job of vetting the people. Whereas when you think about it, how many times you look for something online, you're like, this person sucks. This one sucks. That one's good. Like you're going through to try to figure it out. Like there's no like vetting process because anybody can do it. And that's why the credibility and social authority for social is a lot lower than it is for the traditional media kind of stuff. Like Brad Pitt was going to like get people to look. I mean, don't get me wrong. Casey Neistat's cool and everything like that. Gets tons of things, but people will be like, oh, but it's Brad Pitt. But Casey Neistat gets more eyeballs on videos and stuff like that than anybody does. Doesn't matter. Because you have this kind of like social versus traditional. And so that's one thing you want to look at. That's why a lot of companies, what you end up doing is doing a combination of traditional and social. Because yes, you can have the social doing those things, but you still need to have that movie poster in the movie theater. You need to have that billboard on the highway kind of stuff like that. Not just the pre-roll ads on YouTube and stuff. Okay? And now, if we start looking at some of our typical kind of goals we have for social media. The man with the plan says, so digital marketing is more responsive, useful for someone working in a rapidly changing market. Yes, definitely so. That's exactly how you want to have it. Well said, man with the plan. Now, if we look at kind of like some of the typical goals of social media, like one of the things that's really great about social media is it really does help you build awareness of your brand. Like hey, look at us, we're over here. You have a chance to do that. You can put out those funny commercials. You can put out a lot of different stuff, and it has a chance to get eyeballs on you. So that's one of the goals you might have for that. But the thing is, sometimes your social media is out there for different reasons. You might want to drive traffic to any destination. It could be to a website. In general, it could be to a specific landing page. Like, hey, go to ProfessorWolters.com/this or, WoltersWorld.com/quarantine to hear our stories. Like you can have a specific thing you want them to go to, or it also might be a destination. Like we can use our social media to get people to show up at Jonathan's house at 6 p.m. to do the drive-by, birthday singing things. I'm sure some of you have seen these online. You have those things like, hey, we can get that together, get people to show up in another place. So there's a lot of ways you can look at in terms of driving traffic with our social media, doing that. Your thing's unplugged, buddy.
I know.
So there's that. Now, next thing I want to look at, and one of the best parts I think about social media is it allows you to engage with your fans, okay, or your brand fans, because you can talk to them. Because like I know us, we do live feeds, and a man with a plan and Mark Finley, some of these people that pop up on here, they're from over there, and we've become friends. And it's funny, like if you become friends with a brand, it's like you like them even better, and so that's why you want to have this interaction. I mean, when I have Delta write me back, I feel like it's a friend, though all I get are 3 letters, right? That says, oh, EHG wrote, thanks, helping out, these kind of things. So there is that. And the thing is, when you're engaged with your fans, it can be a gold mine of information. They can tell you so much. I mean, I've had it where people said, hey, it's like over here, they're like, hey, your mic's not working. Or, hey, you might want to get the angle better on your camera. I'm like, oh, thanks. I didn't know that. You can share that. But also, you'll hear from your fans on social media if things are going well or badly. Like, hey, I don't know if you should put this out, that stuff like that. So you do have that interaction. Okay. Another goal you might have for your social media is actually just to grow your fan base, to get more people in there. You also might use it to generate leads. I mean, think about it. How many of you have been scrolling through Instagram during the holidays and you see like the ugly sweaters or the ugly Christmas suits? You're like, oh, maybe I could get that. Yeah, they're like, click here to learn more. They're not selling there. They just click here to learn more. That's a lead. So you can do that to generate leads. And sometimes, yes, you do use it to generate sales. Now, you don't want to always try to generate sales when you're doing these things, but it's the idea of getting that out there. You're very much welcome, man with a plan. Now, rode my bike and hurt my back. I'm just like, ooh, this is painful. But for you, I'm going to suck it up. Other things, yeah, I said engage with your fans. My computer froze. There we go. Another thing that's really important, I mentioned this before, I think it's one thing you should always think about, is just really generating that community feeling among your customers and potential customers so they do have a positive outlook on your brand. And so if they do go out shopping, there's a more likelihood that they're going to maybe buy your brand versus another brand because they have that relationship out there. Another thing you might see with social media is actually recruiting. You can use it to recruit. I mean, how many of you got something on LinkedIn or your schools, like at U of I, we have the handshake thing. That's a social media thing. That's that interest-based kind that, hey, we're here to help you get jobs. That's another way you can reach out. Another thing you might want to do with your social media is actually try to help you establish being the thought leader. Wow, what are they saying about this? I mean, think about it. That's that whole influencer idea. It's like, look, they're an influencer. They're an important person in this industry. They know what's going on. I want to know what they think about that. So that's where that thought leadership idea comes in. So you can do that. All right. Another thing that's really big is using social media to really help improve your search engine optimization. I mean, think about it. When people search you, if you search your name online, what comes up? Probably your LinkedIn profile, right? Or your Facebook profile. It's not your website, not your other stuff. That's what comes up. And so you look and say, hey, we could use these social media platforms to help boost our search engine optimization. People are finding us more. So they're not finding our competition or something that sounds something like us. They know that this is all linked together. So that can really help. And of course, there's other small things you can do to help with the goals of your social media. It could be to help improve the perception of your brand, help launch new products and services, all kinds of stuff. And the thing is, it's kind of important when you're looking at social media. There's some numbers that really back up why you really need to make sure it's really part of your marketing plan, not something separate. And the numbers show that over 75% of consumers in the U.S. research a product online before they purchase. So people are looking online anyway before they go to the store. So you can't be like, oh, but when they get in the store, I'm totally going to sell them this product. Well, the problem is they're not going to your store because they didn't find anything out beforehand. So make sure we're putting our stuff out on digital and social to answer questions, to show people using our products, show the benefits and stuff like that. We need to be doing those things, okay? Now, another good number you need to think about is over 80% of consumers in the U.S. who are exposed to a brand in social media would be willing to trial the product. I mean, that goes back to that whole I saw the funny sweater, Christmas sweater online. Well, maybe I'd get that. Now, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Now, those weird Christmas sweater things, you can buy them at Target during the holidays. They got them there. But the thing is we've seen it. It gives us a chance to really kind of it gives people that pre-try. And think about it. I have all that trust on my friends I have in social media. And so that trust on my friends that are on there passes to the ads and stuff like that. So it kind of goes there. Now, not all the time, but some of the time. Okay. Simon. Yes, Simon, you can always survey what customers' interests are in. Here's the advantage of the internet. Exactly. Now, getting them to fill out the surveys is tough, but I'll tell you, getting people to fill out online surveys is 1,000 times easier than getting them to fill out a survey and send it back. So yes, you want to use all these things. And you can actually track that with social media. You look at the hashtags. What are the words that are going to associate with our brand when they're using it and stuff like that? And so you kind of look at those things. And the thing is when you're looking at social media, what you have to realize is the majority of consumer interactions that we see between brands and companies are over multi-events, multiple channels. Like, for example, me, I mean, I love my Delta. And so, I'll be thinking about my flying stuff and I'll think about Delta flying with them. And maybe I'll look at Skyscanner or a Kayak and I'll go to the Delta app and I'll look on their website because I'll have the app and look on there. Then I'll look on their website too. And then maybe I'll tweet at them, ask them some questions. So there's all these different platforms that people are using to communicate. And so we need to think about that. hey, like we need to have the social media option if they want to communicate that way. They want to have that step. Or also we need to make sure we have our website that can answer questions that way. Or we're doing the interviews to show, what's available for us. We kind of have to think about all that when we're going through there. Okay. And the thing is when you're looking at social media, what you have to realize is the majority of people in the US are multitasking with their phones when they're watching TV. I mean, how many of you right now are on your phone while you're watching this? I mean, you might even have it so like the video's down here in the corner, but then, you're doing something else up here. I mean, I know I do it. I'll have a video on and play a game or something like that or work or whatever. It's like when I'm in class and I see the students that are, of course, paying attention in class when they got their phone up like this. I'm like, I know they're not recording me. they're playing some game or something like that. And once you realize that, we know that, hey, you know what? People are multitasking on these screens, so we need to be on multiple screens in order to get in contact with them. That's why you'll see 5-second ads on YouTube or 15-second ads on YouTube and some on Instagram and some on Billboard. There's all these different ways we have to think about to get people's attention, okay? Now, if you another kind of some more numbers stuff you want to look at, over 75% of U.S. consumers trust peer recommendations, while under 15% trust advertisements. So what does that mean? That means if you can get your clients to write a review online and their friends see it, they're a lot more likely to trust their friend's opinion than they're going to trust the ads you put out there. I mean, think about it. If there's a movie out and the preview looks awesome, you're like, man, that movie looks great, and your friend already saw it and they say it sucks, are you going to go see it? The ad looks great. Your friend's like, it is the worst movie ever. You're like, all right, I'm not going to go. Like you had this kind of influence out there because you trust your friends. And so that's why, hey, if they have a good time, share it on social media. Let your friends know about us. Write a review. We want those kind of things. All right. And another thing you got to realize is when we're looking at media interactions, over 90% of media interactions are screen-based. So it's not billboards. It's not newspapers. It's not magazines. It's the internet. It's on our phones. It's on our, these kind of things. All right. So you got to think about that. Nope. Oh, I'm glad. Emily's, you got it on widescreen all there watching everything. Yeah. Now, next thing I want to talk about is looking at things we should never do on our professional social media accounts. And for my students, this is important to notice because you're dealing with these smaller companies. And a lot of those companies might actually have the social media for their company be their personal Twitter feed or Facebook page as well. First off, you got to make sure that they all separate. Explain to them that, look, your restaurant has its own feed and you have your own feed. And this is the thing that I've seen quite a bit over the years in this class, because especially with the smaller independent businesses, small entrepreneurs, if they're doing it all on their own, if there's only a few people, you just got to make sure you're separating these things. Okay. So the man with the plan points out loads of social media games do this. They encourage the user to invite their friends with rewards to the games. Of course. I mean, I remember Farmville way back, like 10 years ago on Facebook. You get so many requests from Farmville because you get a friend to sign up. You get like 50 extra cows or something like that. And you have these things. And think about it when you're out playing Fortnite. Hey, get your friend to sign up to play Fortnite. And guess what I had to do? I had to get Xbox Live so my kids could play Fortnite on the Xbox. You're like, oh, you already have it on the Switch. My kid right now is like, no, take it away. We're not taking it away, Liam. It's fine.
I was just staring.
Oh, you were just staring?
Uh-huh.
And amazing. See, I even talk about video games around my kids, and they're like, so.
I was just staring. That's all. I was just staring. Not staring in amazement.
Okay. I get you, buddy. I get you.
Just staring.
Okay. So now let's get into some of the things we don't want to do. Now, one of the things, I still see and it blows my mind is you'll see companies that still don't take social media seriously. They think it's still kind of like a fun side thing. Look, this is how you're going to be interacting with clients. And even if it's in B2B, this is where people are going. They're looking on these things. So you got to realize it's vital for your brand to have social media. So the question before, is a brand should have social media pages? Yes, they have to. You have to have that at Coca-Cola to respond to people. You have to have that at Delta to respond to people because that's how your customers are interacting. And if your customers are speaking Spanish, you need to speak Spanish. You don't speak, French. You speak Spanish to help them out. It's the same thing here. We're looking at the platform they're using, so we got to be there for that, okay? And so you think about those things. Another thing That's really important. You never want to buy likes. You never want to buy subscribers, followers, anything like that. Because one, it won't give you realistic metrics, okay? Because you're buying these things. It's not like things are going well. You're faking it. But also companies like Facebook and Google, just in general, do not like that. And if they find out you're doing that, they might actually penalize you. So Universal Music, a few years ago, they had over 1 billion views taken off their artists' YouTube channels. Okay, so like Rihanna, Justin Bieber, right? Like they lost hundreds of millions of views because of this. So you're like, wait, do you want to have that? And look, it's like, oh, is that song really popular? Or did they just buy all those things? And the thing is, you can look at this in an ethical way, because if you ever advertise on YouTube, they'll tell you, oh, if you advertise, you'll get, 20,000 views. I'm like, wait a minute. So I can't pay for views unless I pay for ad views with you. Hey, that's just the way it works. So you got to think about those things. So you want to be careful with that, because a lot of companies, especially when they're young, they're like, look, I'm gonna pay for this to get started, and then we'll let it go. Then we'll have that. Then people will see we have 1,000 subscribers, and they'll subscribe with us. And I can see their logic behind that, because when you see there's only 3 subscribers or 4 subscribers, you're like, I don't know if I want to get on there. But honestly, going the organic route, doing it yourself and building it up, gives that credibility, and you don't run into problems like this, because the terms of service on places like Facebook and YouTube could terminate your channel or terminate your thing if you're doing this. So you don't really want to do that. Okay. Now, another thing I wouldn't do on your social media for your business, criticizing your competitors. That never looks good, because you look petty. Other things is when you're working on something, you don't want to go on a tangent. You're posting like, look, if I'm a car company, I talk about the car company, things related to the car company and stuff like that. I'm not throwing other things out there. That's why I remember I used to watch College Humor. It's a YouTube channel I used to watch all the time. But when they were doing college skits, I worked in a college, still work in college, and I like that kind of college humor. But then they all went to work, and so now college humor should be called cubicle humor, because it's all working life. There's nothing college about it, right? And so you have to think about that. And so if you go on these tangents and you just start doing other things, don't be surprised if some of your audience leaves you. Okay. The man with the plan, you shouldn't advertise on Facebook because you get a lot of fake clicks and click farms. Yeah. Actually, on Google, they have that same thing. Actually, Google pays back a certain percentage of your ad revenue, especially for bigger companies, because they know there's a lot of these bots that are just clicking on ads. And so you can have up to 30% of your money comes back to you, because they find out that it's fake clicks on those ads. So kind of an interesting thing to think about. But my thing is you got to be careful, because you go on tangents and start talking about other things and other non-core social media topics that relate to your brand. That can turn people off. Okay. Another thing that's important not to do, and this is actually what we're talking about for those smaller companies that are using their personal social media as the company's social media, you don't want to mix your business with personal here. You want to make sure you're keeping the corporate social media message consistent and not throwing everything in there. So do have a heads up for that one. Now, other things I would say not to do: spamming your followers. No one likes it. I know you want people to know your new product's out, but you put out 15 posts about this product in a row in 2 days. People are just like, oh my God, unfollow, mute, whatever. You don't want that. Don't spam it for those things. Another thing you want to be careful is, sometimes it might depend on your brand, but being unprofessional. So make sure your visuals are good. Make sure your spell checks on, your grammar checks on, those kind of things. Typical good business practices you want to use on social media as well. Okay, so kind of think about that. Now, other things we should not do. One, I know it's tough. On my channels, we don't have too many bad comments on Professor Wolters, but on Wolters World, a lot of times we'll get trolls. We've had death threats. We've had people threaten my kids and my wife and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, just because I said I didn't like your food, that's pretty crazy. But you'll have that. And the thing is, you can't get mean, because trolls will be trolls. Because what happens if you feed the troll? They keep going, yeah, my son's like, they're crazy. Yes, they are. But if you tell them they're crazy, just keep going. Just ignore them. And it's tough. It's really tough. That's why we have moderators on our channel. So a lot of our live feeds, our videos, we have people that we trust, our brand advocates, like Mark Finley, who was on here before. He's one of our big fans and a friend. And so he can go and he can delete stuff and he can hide people and stuff like that, because you can't track everything. You can't see everything, but you want to make sure you're staying professional. Okay. So don't fall to their level with these kind of things. All right. Another big one I think is important, and this for my students, is remember, make sure you read before you click send. I mean, I messed this up so many times because you might not know this, but I'm a little husky. And with your little husky, it means you got little stubby fingers, little fat fingers. And when I type my messages, sometimes, I mean, I can't tell how many times I've written, hey, we have a love feed tonight at 8 p.m. And it's supposed to be live feed because the O and I, like, make sure you read through. I mean, I make these mistakes. We all do. But it's one of those things you want to try to do. And Liam, you make that mistake sometimes too?
Yeah, like on a bunch of things when I'm like on Minecraft, if I'm trying to type a thing with my hand or something, like if I touch one, it goes to one like here.
Yeah, so Liam was saying on Minecraft he has that problem because he'll try to poke the little thing. It's kind of like when you have the little keyboard and you're like, no, I didn't want that. I love when you have to put your password in and it never shows you what you typed. Like, did I put an E or a plus? I'm not sure. Now, more fun stuff. Oh, my back. So another thing I would say is professional-wise, make sure you do have a posting schedule. Do not have a posting schedule because you want to make sure you have some consistency. And we'll talk about this like in a couple of weeks when I go through scheduling posts and stuff like that. Oh, hey, Liam. Emily Grace says Minecraft is tough, Liam. So she's just showing you some love there, buddy. You want to say anything to her?
Minecraft is tough in survival.
Yeah, Minecraft is tough in survival.
If you go straight on survival.
If you go straight on survival. Okay, thanks, buddy.
But if you just play a little creative one.
Yeah, so play a little creative. Okay, thank you, Lee. Thanks, Emily. Oh, yeah, Mark Finley. See, Mark Finley's on here. I'm watching for trolls here. Thank you to everyone for being good. See, such nice students. Chad, grooming Liam to take over the channel. Maybe one day. I'm trying to get Caleb to start thinking about doing something. He has his days where he's like, yes, no. Because we went for the phase we like to be in the videos. Then we went through the tween and early teenage years where he's like, no, I hate all this. And now he's like, maybe. So who knows? Anyway, some other things you want to be careful with is social media. Like, I don't want to go on these tangents on Minecraft, but sometimes it's good to, like, lighten the mood, Because just like my students know, I do sometimes go on tangents sometimes. Emily says, thanks, Liam. One thing I would say is just like in real sales, you don't want to sound smarmy on social media. Like if you sound like that used car salesman, like people are automatically like, they're already not going to listen to you, so be careful with that. Another thing is Grace. I don't know if there's another Grace who was on here earlier. She was asking about if there's company, or maybe it was Emily Grace, I don't know, was asking, should we have them on all the social media platforms or should we delete some social media platforms? Look, when it comes to platforms, you have to have a good balance. You don't want to have like 90% of our stuff's going on Facebook posts and then there's like, we post like once a year on LinkedIn. No. Have a good balance. So that's why sometimes you eliminate some platforms or stuff like that. But make sure you're, like the effort you're putting in, put the right amount of effort into that platform. Don't half-ass it, right? Like focus on these things, okay? Another thing I think is really important is with your social media feed, when you're interacting with people, you don't want to make yourself sound like a chatbot. Where it's like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is wonderful. Like Wolters World, or it's not Wolters World, but on this Professor Wolters channel, because we're small, you'll have people that will have these automatically, like when a video comes up, they automatically, great content. You should have more views. This is wonderful. Great job. Great content. Great content. Great content. If you write great content, I'm going to probably ban you from the channel because you're spam. And so that's one thing you want to watch out for is you don't sound like you're one of these robocalls. Kind of like, have you ever noticed that they'll do the robocalls and they'll make it like it's a real person? Like, oh, hold on. Like, oh, wait a minute. Let me look that up. And then and you hear the clicky sound. I'm like, you're a computer. Like, you're not fooling anyone. And so you got to be careful with that. Okay. Yeah, so Man with the Plan points out, for the post-COVID announcement, should we assume that people still want to stay home due to worry? For products, online orders may be fine, but it may be hard for classes or in-person places, right? Yeah, it would be, and I think that's why you might say, look, you might have things like, look, if you're still worried about going out, we still do our curbside service. We still do have our delivery. We can still sell you this stuff this way. So you give people the multiple options out there, because I don't think you're going to see an automatic, like one day that oh, May 1st, we can go out again, and no one orders online. Everyone's outside right away. There'll be people, but it won't be everybody. And so you're going to have a transition period back to I'm going to go to the grocery store instead of ordering online. And the thing is, I think in terms of looking for a positive for businesses, you have a lot of businesses now that we're forced to really go online for real. Whereas before, Amazon, people always say, well, Amazon knocked all these companies out of business. Well, Amazon did in a way, but also one of the big failing points of these companies was they didn't take advantage of the online setup, and now they're forced to take it. And so that's been a different kind of thing. Maggie's laughing out loud. Hi, Maggie. I'm glad I can do something for you. Other things out there. Yeah, sorry. Man, I have a lot of these things you shouldn't do. Other things, not sharing other people's content. That's one of the things people really enjoy when they see their content getting shared by other people. That's one way you can meet people, and also you're showing appreciation to your brand customers if they're doing that. That's why people that get our Andiamo t-shirts, if you go to woltersworld.store, you can get an Andiamo t-shirt. People will send me pictures of when they wear the t-shirts around the world, and we always share that. We put out a video every few months with people wearing the shirts they've sent in. We'll share the pictures on social media, just say thank you. And people like that. And we love it. We love seeing people having the t-shirts. We don't make money on these. I just love the fact that people like that has a Wolters World logo. And people go, hey, I like that guy. And our neighbor over here, he was up in Chicago and had his Wolters World logo shirt on. And this guy's like, hey, I love that guy's thing. And they started talking right there. So it's kind of fun that way. Let's see. Man with a plan, do you think it's better to focus on a few social media sites or do a lot of social media sites with less concentration? I would focus on a few that you could do well. But the thing is you do well where your clients are. Like for me, I know I need to do more stuff on Instagram for my students. I need to do more Instagram stories and stuff like that. We did start a Professor Wolters Instagram, but I haven't used that as much yet that I need to. But that's one of the things I'm working up to for next year because I'm going to be doing the online classes. So it's like, wait, I need to have the other things because that's what's going to be. There's no more point in me really like building a big, huge Facebook presence for my college students. So I'm not going to focus a lot of Professor Wolters' effort on that. I'm going to focus on something else. Okay, so you do need to focus on the ones that are going to get the biggest bang for the buck. Because the old saying, jack of all trades, master of nothing. You got to be careful with that with your social media. Okay. Some other things I would say are big mistakes or things you shouldn't do with social media in the business sense is one, not listen to your followers because they'll tell you what you should and shouldn't do. So listen to them. I know we do. Well, I don't know what's going on this year, but usually we do at least 1 or 2 trips a year that our fans actually vote on for us to go to, and we go do that. So that's kind of a nice thing. But I think a really big problem that companies had, and they definitely shouldn't do, is not having a social media plan. Like it's not just post whenever you want, like post with purpose. Post quality over quantity. That's why I look at it and say, look, every Wednesday and Saturday, we post new travel videos. Okay. We've been doing that. We've been in Wolters World for over 10 years, but we've been doing, Liam, you got to plug that into the wall, buddy, because that plug's unplugged. If we look at it in terms of scheduling, like since 2014, it's been every Wednesday and Saturday, but then we do other videos too, but it's all, no matter what, there's going to be a new video out on Saturday or Wednesday. It might be a live feed, it might be something else, but we do that. Okay. Liam, there's some plugs over here. You can sit on the dogs thing. You can take it upstairs. All right. He's upset because his Switch is getting low on juice, and I have commandeered all the plugs for the computers and the plug and other stuff here. We'll get you, buddy. Don't worry. Can you fit it in the first one? And then TV's on that one? Or goes that way? Here, you can sit right over there. You can sit right there. Don't unplug anything, dude.
Oh, wait.
They're all for the computer stuff, but he's tracing them to see which one he can unplug. You can see which one. Probably the top one, Liam. The top one. One nearest the light. We have a whole house he could go to, but he wants to be here with you all. Yeah. So we have that. Okay, moving on. Back to some other stuff. So moving out from the don'ts of social media to the do's of social media, one thing you really got to think about to be successful in social media, you got to make sure you remember this one key thing. Never forget that content is king. It doesn't matter how great your thumbnail is. It doesn't matter what great your title is. It doesn't matter how pretty you are. If your content sucks, No one's going to watch it. No one's going to read it. I mean, that's why. I mean, I have friends that are like, Mark, how do you do so well? You're so fat and ugly. I'm like, because I give good content and I help people travel better? Maybe. I don't know. And so you're like, wait, you're right. You do give good information. And that's what you have to do. Make sure your content is worth seeing. Because people don't get 1 million views because it sucks. I mean, there's some weird videos that get 1 million views, but in general, you got to think about those things. Hey, Henry Martinez. My afternoon's going well. Just teaching some of these awesome students here. Oh, Liam, Tatiana says, I feel that, Liam. My Switch runs out of juice so fast. I just have to park myself at an outlet. So you're not the only one suffering, Liam. So there is that. Just imagine, maybe that's why they don't have they don't have Netflix on Switch yet. Who knows? Just take up the battery. Yes, content is king. So make sure you're doing that. Also, which is going back to things, is also pay attention to the social signals that are out there. Like when the COVID thing hit, I'm like, we're not putting out any travel videos. We're done. Like, we're going to focus on getting people to stay home, not travel, answer their questions, help do the live feeds and build a community kind of stuff. We're doing that. We're not putting out travel stuff. And so, I mean, right before spring break for my students, like if you followed our Wolters World channel, we stopped. Like we put out a video on because we were like getting ready to travel. Like, wait, this is getting too real. We stopped. Travel ban started. So, hey, what does a travel ban mean for you? Do layovers count the travel ban? Don't travel right now. Like we focused on those things. Like the don'ts of the quarantine. We did that for a time because the social signals like, look, don't tell people to travel right now because you can't. Get the real information out. So the social signals are saying those things. But then we started getting other social signals. And I mean, how many of you are tired? It's hearing about all the people that are sick and dying, all this kind of stuff. Like, if you watch the news too much and social media too much, it's just depressing. And so we actually had a number of people that reached out to us and said, hey, could you please put out new travel content? Please, because I want to see something else. And so we got so many people that wrote us. I'm like, all right, we're going to start. So we started the first week of April. We started putting out new content again. Like we're just doing like small stuff. We did, what to know before you go to Costa Rica, the food of Argentina, the don'ts of Buenos Aires. So, smaller videos that they're not big, just like, hey, if people want something, we've got something for them. So we're doing that. But the social signals were telling us, look, people want their content back. They want some normality. And so you kind of do those things. So make sure you're watching those social signals. Okay. Another thing that's really helpful to be a success in social media is develop champions and advocates for your brand online. Like I can't say thank you enough to Mark Finley, who's on here. He was on with me for 3 hours last night. He, his wife, and his daughter were all on here like commenting, and he was watching stuff and taking people's bad comments down. It's like, man, I mean, that is amazing. Thank you, Mark. And the thing is when you develop champions, people that really believe in your brand, really believe in you and your social media stuff, they start promoting you. They start sharing you. They become like your friends. And they are your friends. So you start seeing that. So it's really important if you can develop those things. That's why you'll have some companies that will reach out and say, hey, I see you really like our product. Maybe you could work together or something like that. So there is that. Bring your child to work day at the Wolters house. Yep. He was actually upstairs. And then apparently, knowing that you all were here, he had to come back down and hang with us here. Or maybe that's just a more comfortable couch. I'm not sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the comfortable couch. It's not me. It's a comfortable couch. Sorry. Both. Oh, me. Is it the students too? No. Ha! Me and the couch over the students. There you go. Anyway, let's look at some other tips for being a success on social media. When you're thinking about your ideas, you got to be smart about things, right? So you got to be specific. You got to make sure you're measurable, what you're going for, attainable goals, relevant and timely, right? So if we're thinking about what we want to get done with our social media, you got to be specific what you want to get done. Because if you're overly vague, like, oh, I want to be a success on YouTube. I want this video to go viral. Well, what is viral? Viral for a Wolters World video is 1 million views, right? Or 500,000 views. Like, that's a really good video. But on Professor Wolters, honestly, if it gets 1,000 views, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, we only had like 10 videos with 1,000 views. And in Wolters World, we've got like 300 with over 100,000. I mean, it's insane. And so you're like, wait a minute, it all depends. But the thing is, you got to be specific. What is that goal? Is it, because you say more subscribers, well, 1 subscriber is a success. Okay. Oh, you mean 1 million? Get wrecked. Get wrecked. So we have that. Hey, Liam, no school tomorrow.
I know that.
You know that? Okay. Just letting you know. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that.
I can't wait until Sunday.
You can't wait till Sunday for Easter? Yeah. Let's see.
I'm making sushi.
You're making sushi?
No, this game is.
Oh, your game. Okay. Can I do this? Because we only have a little bit of time left. We've been on for an hour, and so I got to get some more. I want to get some more. I want to get through these slides. So this is actually going to be. This would count as 2 classes for my students out there, because I'm going to go through the first 30 slides. And usually, what we're doing going through here is we're actually looking at. We would be working on this stuff with your companies at the same time. So this is kind of like 2 lectures in one. So I'm trying to get as much stuff as possible. I know some of you don't have the chance to watch this live, so I at least can have this out there and you can watch it in pieces. So we can do that. But if I start looking at being specific, really be specific with what you want to do with your social media, where you want to grow. Is it, I want to grow my Facebook, or I want to grow my Twitter, or is it, look, I'd like to improve my distribution? Because if I look at my Facebook, for Wolters World, Facebook is like 50-50 male-female. But if I look on YouTube, it's 70-30 male-female. Well, what can I do to improve? What could we do? Let's have a specific goal. I want to help out more female travelers. Okay, what can we do? Well, we've brought in my wife. She's doing more videos. She's writing more blogs to get more of a perspective, and hopefully that can draw people in. So you kind of think about those things, but you got to be specific. Also, those goals you have, you need to make sure they're measurable. So know the metrics you're looking at. Because, for example, YouTube doesn't care about number of views. All they care about is watch time, because they want those eyeballs on YouTube 24 hours a day. Not, they watch 24 videos. Well, if the video is 10 seconds long, they'd rather have one person watch a 24-minute video than 24 videos of 10 seconds, because that's 24 minutes they're on YouTube. And so you have to think about those things. So make sure whatever you're looking for, you can get a metric for it. That's what those KPIs, key performance indicators, we're going to talk about those later. Now, I'll get to Simon and Baggy stuff. I'll get you guys in a sec. I want to get through this real quick. Another thing you got to realize is you make sure that the goals you set are attainable. It's something you can get. Like, I would love for Professor Wolters to be 100,000 subscriber channel, but I know, having put out basically just introduction to marketing videos for the last year and a half, because I'm going to be doing my introduction, my principles of marketing course online. So I'm like, look, I got to get all those videos out. Look, who's going to watch a principles of marketing video? Principles of marketing students, maybe some people starting a business, but they're not too exciting. So what do I need to do to get there? I can't think I'm going to get 100,000 views off basic marketing videos. No, you got to go farther. So like Professor Wolters, now that I've got all the videos done, well, not all of them, but 90% of the videos done for my basics course, now I can start putting on bigger videos. So we got like some of the sales videos we were doing, like the live stuff. You watch that. I refilmed some of those to have a breakdown of that, so we can do that. That might get somebody on there. Telling you the value chain. Think about the social media stuff. How to be a success on social media. A lot more people are going to look at that than these are the 4 P's of marketing. And so that's why you got to make sure you make attainable goals that are realistic. Also, the goals you set out there are relevant. Okay, they correlate with your marketing goals. So, for example, for a university, if their social media goal is, hey, we want to get more people following us, well, we also want to get students to sign up. So what if we can get those goals together? We want the social media goals to get possible new student signups coming in, and we're bringing more students in. It fits. That's why you want to make sure the social media and the overall marketing goals are all kind of aligned, okay? And they're relevant to each other. And then also, to be really successful with your social media, you got to make sure it's timely. You have that schedule, you stick to it, you have content that really fits with the current trends, because you want to have that. You know, I know is when people start traveling again, I want to put out a bunch of stuff of traveling in the U.S. Why? Because even if people can travel internationally again, they're not going to do it right away. People are going to still stay closer to home. Why? Well, this is a virus. You're going to have the peak and then the down and then another outbreak and then another outbreak, and it's going to go like this. And do you want to get stuck someplace? No. If there's lockdowns again, I want to make sure I can drive back home and use that toilet paper I have downstairs. I've been saving up, right? And so you got to think about those things, all right? So you kind of want to put this all together. Now, let's see some questions. The man with the plan. Thanks, Mark. Do you think it's worth paying influencers to become champions for your product? Okay, here's the thing. Paying an influencer will get you to do what you pay them to do. So if you pay them to do 3 videos or 4 stories or something like that, you're going to get them for that time. Are they going to work with you again? Are they going to talk about you again later? Maybe, maybe not. You're basically paying. It's like influencers just paying for an ad. You're going to get it as long as people look at that and that they're still reading that newspaper that it has that ad in there. Otherwise, it's not going to. I would rather have 1,000 bajillion Baggy Tees and Mark Finleys out there, because there are people that really, truly like our videos, talk about our videos, are on here. They've come over to the Professor Wolters channel to watch this. Those people are amazing advocates for our brand. Whereas if I paid someone to do it with an influencer, all you're getting is that little bit. So you have to realize that's why whenever you see an influencer go, this is my favorite insert product, they got paid to say that. Okay, it's very seldom they're not paid for it. Okay, and so you have to kind of think about it that way. But for brands, say, look, I want to get in front of people. I want people that watch Casey Neistat to see my brand. It'd be great, And so we have people that are they know that look, influencers do get people out there. Right now, we're putting together a website to help local businesses make money, have people donate to them. Why am I doing this? Well, I can use my influence in our 600 and some odd thousand subscribers, 700,000 followers and stuff like that on different platforms. We can get the message out and say, hey, look, if you've got a local business that needs help, you can sell these shirts. You get 10, every shirt you guys sell, $10 goes straight to your organization. Whether it's a business, whether it's a church, stuff like that. Hey, we can do that. And so the thing is the influencers have the connections out there. They can get it in front of people. So you pay for those kind of things. All right. So I hope that helps. Baggy T, no storm damage on the house, Mark. Catched up on the latest content this morning. UK time, great laugh. Yeah, so we do our Wine and Whiskey Wednesdays live feed at 8 p.m. Chicago time on our Wolters World channel. And so, we had a good time with that one. It was tough to start because Onward was on Disney Plus, so the kids wanted to watch it. So we literally finished it, and then 5 minutes later we started the live feed. And if anyone ever watches a Pixar movie, it's like the tears always have to come. So... well, we got it. No, we didn't get too much storm damage, so that was good. And one of the nice things is because of the COVID and no one's traveling, I cleaned out our garage so we can actually get our other car in there so it didn't get damaged. My cousin was not so lucky. His car looks like somebody took a Tommy gun to it. So so it's all busted up. Simon, because if you say something that's credible, what do too much is not Simon, I'm not sure which part I was talking about that time. The man with the plan, I think traveling will become more expensive for a while because a lot of the collapse in some travel firms. Loads of loyal fans are really good earned media. Yeah, loyal fans. It's like anything. It's not just fans, loyal customers. I mean, if my students are out there know that I love my Culvers, love Culvers so much, their senior VP came to my class to surprise me with a dude dressed up like Scoopy. You have those kind of things. And that kind of brand loyalty, you can't pay for. I've never gotten a dime from Delta. I've never gotten a dime from Culver's, but I will talk about them till the cows come home. Now, if they want to sponsor me, that'd be awesome, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to get that. So you have to think about those things. Now, some other things, getting back on topic, because we had our question and answer little stuff, because I want to get this all through, because this is really, again, these are two classes in one, so I'm just going to keep going, because you can watch this later too. So some other tips on being a success. Make sure you know your audience for each platform. Like I was saying, my Facebook audience is a little bit older and it's more female. It's the 50-50. Whereas my YouTube audience, it's 70-30 male-female. But also the average age, it's not old farts like me. It's younger farts like you. It's the biggest group, I think, is 19 to 29. So, excuse me. So 25-35. 25-35 is our biggest group. It's oh. And so you start to see, look, if I have these different audiences here, maybe I should have different content for them, right? And so we kind of think about that. So you got to make sure you're tailored to those different platforms and looking at your analytics for those different platforms, okay? Another thing that helps for companies when we're looking at influencers is know who those influencers are, who's going to get people to do things. Because that's one thing you have to look at is, look, if I use this influencer, what am I using them for? Am I using it to get the word out? Or am I getting people to sign up to buy our product? Because there's two different things out there, right? Because there's some people that, hey, I watch this video for fun, but I'm never going to do the things that they talk about. Whereas the other ones, I watch what they do, and I actually do buy those things. Like the light I got here. Was a recommendation from a guy that I watch that I trust on good lighting for YouTube videos. And I got the thing he recommended. So he was an influencer, but you have to think about these things. So know who those influencers are and make sure you're collaborating with them, okay, to do that. Okay, that's why companies fight over the LeBrons of the world, okay? Other things you want to make sure, like I said, engage with your audience as much as you can. That's one of the great things for me is while we've been on this lockdown, I've been able to do these live feeds with my students. I know not a lot of them comment. But you know what? It's okay. I love doing the live feeds on Wednesdays and Saturdays with our fans, and we do an extra one every couple weeks now with our patrons and members. And what's cool is I got to really know them. Like the Mark Finley, who's been on here, it was his wife's birthday last week, so we had a card for her and stuff like that, and it was great. And you really get to have those things. And when you do that engagement, you really start to become more attached with them. So it's not just tagging them in a picture, it's tagging them and talking to them and stuff like that. Other thing that's really important with your social media is always think image, okay? Think of the visual side of it. The thumbnail, the picture, the whatever, the graphic, the infographic, those kind of things are going to have a really big impact on your success, because if it's not enticing for you to click on it, I mean, there's a reason why clickbait works, because it works, okay? So you have to think about that, all right? Other things to look at, if you're looking at your scheduling, here's one thing I think is important, because a lot of times you're not sure, is like, what should I put out? And so there's this thing called the 411 rule, okay, in terms of what to put out. So the 411 is 4 of your own posts, like talking about your products and why they're so great, or stuff like that. 1 post is something you're going to share from someone else. And then you have 1 post that's more of a sales kind of thing. So think about it. If you have 5 other posts that come out and then you have 1 that's asking for a buy or a sale, okay, that's fine. Because the thing is, if you have 5 asking people for a sale and then 1 other content, people tune that out. And so you think about it, those 4 share posts, what should they be? Those 4 posts that you're doing about your stuff. You could talk about your value proposition, the benefits of your products, sharing good stories of people that have used your products, showing that truck going over the hill or something like that. You have those things. The thing is, those value propositions that you're showing, you're not saying buy my truck because the bed's so big. You're just saying the bed's so big. They decide if it's something important to them. So you do that, okay? Now that sharing content, that's why we talk about curation topics. Who you're curating information from, who you're going to be sharing from. You have that all listed up, and you figure out whose content will I share? Is it the people that are wearing their Andiamo shirts, huh? Or is it the people that are using our products, or someone that wrote to us? We have to think about those things. I got a great picture. One of our fans sent us a picture from Singapore, and on our Wolters World stuff I've shared, and he's like, yes, he's on the infinity pool in Singapore, like, yeah, and he's got his Wolters World t-shirt on in the pool. I'm like, dude, that's awesome, right? And so you got to share that kind of stuff. So you see those kind of things, all right? And then that 1 post was post something about me, the product, and why it's more of a sales focus. You can put that out there. But what I would say is, like, make sure it links to the website, because people know if they're going to buy, they go to the website. Social media, not such a big sales kind of thing, okay? Now, let's see. Oh, got a couple more questions, I think. May I have the plan? Glad I could be there for you. Let's see. Emily Grace, how do you adjust the 411 rule if your product is social content, i.e. YouTube videos? So yeah, that's also a thing, because the 401 works best, I think, for products, like traditional products kind of stuff. If you're looking at it for here, like for me, I always look at the analytics. What works? What do I want to focus on? And so my 411 rule in terms of what I would be doing is I would put it out the blogs, here's the blog, here's a video, here's stuff like that. And then, like, there might be another thing, like, oh, you want to grab some merch or something like that. There could be those things. But the 411 rule, like for YouTube, that'll be a bit different. And I'll talk about scheduling. If you want to, like, kind of like spoiler alert, you can actually go to the YouTube. I think it's the 10th or 11th topic. If you go through, it's like slide like 200 around there. We start talking about like advice for scheduling out your YouTube stuff. I would do it that way. But the 411 rule for social content, if that's what your main thing is, it's going to be a little different, okay? But we can talk about that more, because we're going to get that probably not next week, but the week after, so we can really do some more stuff there, okay? Now, next thing. All right. Things we can do with social media that's not just trying to sell more stuff. Yes, I keep harping on this. Why? Because repetition gets people to remember that social media is not for sales. We focus on other things. So it could be developing your product, finding new ways to use your product, engaging with your customers. There's all kinds of stuff. But the big thing is just that feedback side of it. Make sure you're adjusting your social media marketing to make sure it integrates that interaction. Okay? So you want to make sure you're doing those kind of things. All right? Because we use our social media for a lot of different reasons, and sometimes it's just there to build up our web presence. Like I said, with that social media search and optimization and stuff like that, we're doing those things. It can also be used to help getting reviews and ratings, because the thing is, if you have that Facebook page, they can review that, they can rate that, right? And so we do those things, all right? And I've talked about building the community. I've talked about giving customers a way to tell their stories, things like that. But what's really important with social media that's not selling, it just gives you a chance to tell your brand story, your product story, your thing. I mean, that's one thing I love saying. It's like, look, the reason why I do all these Wolters World videos, why I do the honest travel advice, because I got tired of BS travel blogs out there that are total BS. They got paid to say good stuff. They make it look like it's real. That's not right. And if you only got 10 days vacation, I don't want you wasting 10% of your vacation, i.e. one day, because somebody got paid off to say, this is the greatest place to go to. No, that's not right. And so that's why you want to make sure you can tell your story. Why is it? Why are those Wolters World videos looking so, why aren't they like fancy? Why don't you have any drone footage? Why don't I have drone footage? They're cool, but are you ever going to see the drone footage when you're an actual traveler? No. I want to show you the real stuff you're going to see. Okay? So some comments on here. JF, I completed my BS in marketing 4 years ago online. Cool. I subscribe to the channel as a form of refresher, continuing education, especially for the social media, digital marketing stuff. Cool. JF, I'll be doing the live social media classes for the next 3-4 weeks. So you'll be getting a lot of that here. So hopefully that can help out. And then there'll be the smaller video kind of breakdowns of a lot of the stuff too. So I have a lot of stuff for you. Hey, Mary, how are you? How should we recommend our companies to use their social media during the shutdown or potentially another one if they are a company that has to completely shut down? Okay. So one thing is the reminder that, hey, we're here for you. Our people are here for you. So you could have content showing the workers that are going to be coming back to work or the products you had. But like, that's where you have, like, if you have that content, like one thing I want to share is like pictures, because people do their pictures for Wolters World around the world, is, hey, here's some destinations you'll get to go to again. Because like our business, Wolters World's down, we're 90%. 90% our viewership is gone. Like the last 28 days, we have negative 127 subscribers. Usually at this time of the year, we'd be getting 20,000 subscribers. We're negative 127. So you're like, oh, what do you do? Well, put out stuff. Make sure people know that you're still there. These kind of things. So sometimes just like keeping that top of mind. Or if they are doing things, what can we do if we're going to have online sales or stuff like that? Or sometimes it's like, look, if you're a client and you have questions, we have reduced hours, but here's the number you can call. Those kind of things, you can have that. Rebecca says, awareness and trust is what Godin says is important. How to build trust when you're new. You build trust by consistently delivering on your promises. And the thing is, that's what a brand is. A brand is just a set of promises that keep getting promised. You know, I can trust that Coca-Cola, what it's going to taste like, right? I can trust it's going to be cold because I'm going to get it from a vending machine that's going to be there. Like those kind of things. It works the same with a small business. That's why you see YouTube channels that go from nothing to huge, because people start believing. They're like, wow, they put out good video after good video after good video. I'm going to watch them again and again and again. It's kind of like some of my students here. I mean, think back to Baton 320. You're like 8 a.m. in the morning, like, I hate this class. And then after like a few months, you're like, well, this class isn't too bad. Hey, Wolters does an okay job. Maybe I'll take another one of his classes. Like, it builds up over time. Nobody's your best friend the first day. It takes time to build up that best friendship. Okay? So think about that in that way, Rebecca. Jeff, if you were to launch your podcast tomorrow, how would you market other than YouTube? So I would have it on all the podcast outlets out there. I would have it on all my social media channels to announce it. I think, because here's the thing. I would not want to really do a huge ad push when I only had 1 or 2 podcasts. I would want to have about 5 podcasts already out there, because here's the thing is, if you start advertising like YouTube, your YouTube channel right away, and you only have 1 video, there's only 1 video they watch. They're not going to subscribe if you only have 1 video. They need more content. So when I got like 5 or 6 podcasts ready, we do that. And in terms of our podcast, so we've got the microphones. We've got an actual light kind of stuff. I'm actually going to get a new camera so we can do those things, because our podcast will be the podcast, like when you listen on your podcast channels, or however you like to listen to your favorite podcast. We'll have that, but also have a video version of it, of Joss and I talking there and stuff like that. So we'll have multiple options out there. So I hope that helps. You're very welcome, Rebecca. There's that. So other things. I think I have a couple more slides I want to go through before we get there. Rebecca, ugh, I'm impatient, but I will heed to this advice. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, Rebecca. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it took Wolters World years to get anywhere. And Professor Wolters' channel, we've got 6,000 subscribers now. And I mean, we're growing. We're growing a little bit. Actually, Professor Wolters got 280 subscribers last month, and the last 28 days. And Wolters World, which is 100 times bigger, had negative 127, I think I said. Yeah, so it comes. It'll come. So there is that.
You mean losing?
Yes, we lost the last 20 days. We've actually have less subscribers than we did before.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
I thought you meant somehow people could
unview us? No, the views are still there. You still got the views.
No, like with subscribers, they could like make it negative.
Yeah, it can't, because if more people leave, then you have negative subscriber growth. So.
No, but
because have you ever clicked on like stop watching somebody?
No.
Oh well, you're.
I never like it or anything unless it's SciShow.
Unless it's SciShow. Respect for SciShow, right there. We love them. Anyway, anyway, so things we can do with social media that is not just selling stuff. Keeping on with this. Make sure you're using your social media for communication things. If it's employees and employee-related things, use those LinkedIn's or things like that. Also, making sure you're using it for the customer service kind of stuff. Different ways it can be out there. You can give recommendations, the kind of topics you want people to talk about with social media. So you might have it that there's the chat bot that actually says, like, what are your normal questions? Boom, we send that out to you. Right there. Other things, again, we can use our social media to develop leads. We can find potential new customers. We can use social media to research what people are buying or why they're buying it. That's why if you look at Amazon, they have other people bought this. I mean, think about it. If you sell something on Amazon, you say, what are they else buying? What can we learn from that? You have those things too. Okay. And also what really can help is sometimes our social media really gives us an idea of what's our sales projection looking like for the future. Okay. So you do have that. And so just some last little basics I want to talk about. Make sure you know your audience with your social media because it can be very different based on the platform you're looking at. So make sure you're looking at those analytics and understand their wants and needs for each one of those different platforms because honestly, it can be a whole different beast out there. Make sure you're sticking to your strategy and your social media plan that's out there. Also, make sure you're coordinating your messages. Okay, don't have one completely different message on Twitter than something else on YouTube and something else on your website. That confuses people. You want everybody else sticking with. Yes, Tatiana, Liam is a loyal subscriber. Gotta love him. And he's adorable too, by the way. Anyway, other things you want to say is make sure you're keeping it simple with your website, with your social media. You don't have to reinvent the wheel with these things because you just kind of use it to help people out. Make sure you're responding to those customers. And again, always favor quality over quantity. Because people are like, well, I need to put out a video every day. No, because you put out 10 shitty videos, no one's going to watch it. You put out one good video, they might watch it. Because then when you put out another video and they think it's going to be good, they'll watch that. So you want to be careful with those things. Okay? So I think that's the end of this, the basics of social media. So if we were in class, so this would have been the second day of the class, we would focus the last 30 minutes of class on looking at your customers' social media platforms. Okay? And you want to see and think about who are they targeting? Because you can look at it and see that, look, some companies you can see that really target different audiences based on what they're at. Like the Holderness family, they do like the Christmas Jammies people. They are huge on Facebook because it's family-oriented, middle-aged people kind of stuff. And so they get billions of views there. But on their YouTube channel, they only get millions of views because it's a different audience with different kind of stuff. So you have to think about those things. Also, make sure when you're looking at your client, what's their objectives for each of these platforms, what should be their objectives. You want to talk about those things too. Also think about what social media platforms they should be on or shouldn't be on and how best they can achieve those objectives on these different platforms. Okay, so we've been on for about an hour and a half. This would have been 2 classes for sure. How I would have split this up and done some talking. So there you go. You got two classes for the price of one, and you've got a sales class earlier this week. So I will stay on here for a couple more minutes. If people have any questions, concerns, or comments, I'm here for that. Otherwise, I wish you all a fantastic day, and I'm glad you're here for that. Next week, Tuesday, I'm doing my 12-hour, 15-hour marketing marathon where I'm going to do the entire Baton 320 class straight through right here. We're going to be doing that. So we have that going. I hope you'll stop in sometime to say hi. So on next Thursday, I'll be doing a class at 2 and 4 for Baton 420. So we'll have digital marketing, 2 digital marketing courses that way. So we'll do that. So you have that. Claire, I'm glad you like this live stream. I'm going to make sure I got to be careful when we do that 15-hour one. We get some people come in. Maybe I'll do some of it sitting down too. Hopefully my back's working up by then. Let's see. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah.
Oh, Rebecca just put in one there. So if social media is not for sales, is it just for getting people in your funnel, email, subs? Yeah, yes. You can use it for that. You can use it for all those things. But I always like to say, look, use the social media to build that community, like that rosy feeling inside. So if they're going to buy, then they will buy your stuff. Okay? Ooh, I wonder if this is a robocall. Hello? I'm filming a class right now, so could I talk to you? Can you call in about 10 minutes? Thanks. No problem. Bye. I'll be damned. I actually got a real phone call and not a robocall. I don't know who this person, JD Byrider? I don't know. Anyway, so other things on here. Yeah. So Rebecca, you can use social media for all kinds of stuff. The problem is if you try to oversell on it, it turns people off. But to get in the sales funnel, that's why, go to our website, click on here, give us your email. I mean, contests, getting people, giving away free stuff. Ever notice on YouTube, everyone's giving away they used to give away loot crates when they were loot crates, but now it's like, we'll give you free movie tickets, we'll give you a DVD, we'll give you this. Why? Because then you get to build your email list. People sign up that way, so you can use it that way, so you're going to go get them from another way. All right? Thanks, Mark. You have a good night, too. Tatiana, awesome stream, Mark. Thanks so much for being such an understanding and inspiring professor. See you next week. Cool. Thank you, Tatiana. That's really nice. That's why I love doing these things. Rebecca, I like rosy feelings. Nice. All right. Okay. Well, I wish you all the best, and I will see you all next week.
Dad?
Bye. Hold on, Liam.
Fine.
Okay. Bye.